Okay, I'm going to call to order the budget committee meeting for fiscal year 2025-26. Flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Start with Councilor Eater.
Here.
Councilor Astorga.
Here.
Councilor Donahue. Here. Councilor Ott.
Here.
Councilor Hobart.
Here.
Councilor Bullock.
Here.
And Mayor Powell.
Okay.
Member Whitchurch.
Here.
Member Ross.
Here.
Member Coastal is absent. Member Brackenreed is also absent. Member Brunner.
Here.
Member Byer.
Here.
And member Sandra.
Here.
Alright.
Okay, item 4, now we need to elect the budget committee chair. So does anybody want to be the committee chair? Am I still thinking?
I'll volunteer
Okay,
if I can. Council.
you can.
I'll volunteer.
Anybody can do it. Where you see it. Does Jack have a cheat sheet?
Yes, as soon as it's official, I will bring him the script.
So do we need to vote on it?
Yes.
Or is there anyone else that wants to be the committee chair? Make a motion.
A second.
Motion made by Mayor Fowle and seconded by Councilor Ott. Roll call.
Member Sandra.
Here.
Oh, no, irony.
Oh, yay.
Member Whitchurch.
Yes.
Member Ross.
Aye.
Member Coastal is absent. Member Brackenreed is absent. Member Brunner.
Aye.
Member Byer.
Aye.
Councilor Bullock.
Aye.
Councilor Eater.
Aye.
Councilor Hobart.
Aye.
Councilor Astorga.
Aye.
Councilor Donahue.
Aye.
Councilor Ott.
Aye.
Mayor Powell.
Aye.
There's a little cheat sheet. We're right here. The dark ones are.
Okay.
as you can see.
If any attendee in the audience or online wishes to make a public comment, please make yourself known by stating your name. You will have 3 minutes to make your comments. Hearing none. We'll move on. I'm going to turn the floor over to Tara, to deliver the budget message and highlights.
Yes, so I know last year Mark asked if you wanted him to read it line by line, and I think you all said no, so I'm gonna ask you, do you want me to read the budget message? Okay, there's a no, okay. I also made as a public document the explanation of changes. Is there any questions on that document before I go to submitted questions from members of the community?
Any changes you have?
Any questions on the explanation of changes, this document that I emailed out?
Well, I had sent some.
Yes, I'll go over that. I just wanted to see if there was anybody who didn't.
Okay, probably that's best.
This. This is Alan's.
Do you only need a copy, so do you want need copies?
Yeah, because I didn't see the email.
You didn't see that?
I'll get a copy too.
No. I just read about the email.
Raise your hand if you need a copy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure everybody got the email that it was Alan. Okay, excellent, great. I was like, uh-oh. Yeah, and I didn't bring a copy, because I was gonna move on to other questions, that were submitted above and beyond that, so. We'll just take a little minute to wait till Jackie gets copies back.
Sarah, did I ask a question about the street fund, page 63, or did that question come in my mind later on?
Page 63? No,
Specifically about Leo and Academy.
no, I did not have a question about
Okay,
that.
I'll have a question.
Okay.
Tara, is this the venue where I would beg for Academy to be paged? Kidding.
You aren't the only
My
one.
question has something to do with that,
Okay, well, I heard.
but not the actual
Being
page.
paved. I've lived on Alder Street my whole life and still waiting for that to happen. Oh, first. Parts are right on.
Back
to the mountain. They dusted my house. It's
You're good with that.
right when it starts going uphill. It's like a big greenhouse kind of set back from the road, the blacktop drive.
You're on the north side of the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right kind of, yeah, it's like our next door neighbor's house, right down. And then he's in the front, we're in the middle, and then there's somebody in the back.
Yeah,
You still get the dust.
Yeah.
it's rough.
Well, we learned after our first year to just close all the windows during Oktoberfest because I would have them open. I mean, it was like the volume of when we got home the first night, but it was rough. So now we just kind of seal the house. And get it out. It's not terrible.
I don't remember, I'm sorry, it's one, most of these.
Apple Academy. You know, part of it is. I don't know about part of it. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I think it'll be best just to read over this since some people didn't get it or didn't have a chance to read it. So I kind of just went through and tried to highlight some obvious or questionable large changes. So typically every year, this actually has nothing to do with budget changes, but typically every year, somebody points out to me that the numbers under the income under Mount Angel information believes that the information is incorrect because the Hispanic income is so much higher. I went back to city data this year, they've updated it, and the Hispanic median family income is still higher. And you can see the charts that they have on their website. Because it is clear, according to the charts, that Mount Angel has a large Caucasian white presence that has a lower income threshold than the Hispanic presence. While at the same time, the Hispanic income at the greater than $200,000 is larger than the Caucasian white income. So I just wanted to show that it wasn't a mistake, according to their data, that those numbers are correct.
So if I'm reading the graph correct, there's 120 or so families, Hispanics that have over $200,000 of income per family.
That's what their data is saying. Then for administration, page 41, travel, training and certification, which I give the GL numbers there. I'm not going to read those out. Has increased to add city manager conferences and trainings for this year. And then for page 44 under police, computer equipment has increased to purchase e-ticketing software, implementation services and hardware. Some of the submitted questions, I'll try to go through these as well, because they kind of go along with it. Somebody asked, what is e-ticketing? So, it's a software and associated hardware that allows officers to enter appropriate information into a mobile device and print a citation on receipt type paper. That information is then sent electronically to the municipal court software and then sent electronically to the DMV after the citation has been processed in court.
So it's something that they carry in their car with them? Okay.
Yep.
It's a good thing you don't know what it is.
As someone who has to look at those documents, and the clearer they are, the better, for use down the road.
Yeah, exactly. No more deciphering handwritten. Same on the same page, page 44, police attorney fees have decreased since the collective bargaining will hopefully be completed. That's a hopefully, we're hopefully anticipating that to be completed by fiscal year end this June 30th. Under court, page 45, computer supplies and services is for the purchase of a court extension in express bill pay. This will allow court clients to pay online instead of needing to call City Hall for their payments. Currently, the only customers that can log in and pay on their own are utility customers. So adding this module will allow our court customers to go on and do their payments without needing our help. Community development, page 47. The planning fees and engineering fees have increased to reflect trends experienced in this current fiscal year 24-25. And the increase in interest received, development interest received by Colby. The planning and engineering fees are typically passed on to our customers. However, there is up to 2 or 3 months delay between paying the invoice received from the Mid-Valley COG and Civil West, invoicing our customers and then receiving reimbursements from them. The increases will accommodate these delays.
So the customers, that is the developer that's doing whatever work, or?
It should be the developer, it can be the homeowner, it's whoever's interested in developing their. Yep.
Okay,
The applicant pays a deposit and then they get invoiced for what the actual cost was.
Okay.
Page 50, library, salary and wages and employee benefits reflect the increase in hours for the library director from 30 hours per week to 40. And the addition of the summer teen intern, which has been funded by grants in previous years. I received a question about that, so let me read that. Adding a summer teen intern after this position has been funded by grants. How long has this position been funded by the grants? Been funded by the grants for the last 2 years. Initially, was the position needed and we were able to find a grant to fund it temporarily? Or did we just take advantage of an available grant because it was free money and now we want to fund the position ourselves? In the second option, we took advantage of an available grant and now we want to fund the position. And if we do want to keep funding it, is it because A, we feel we need it, or B, we are doing this as a community service? And the answer is both. The summer teen intern position has been funded for the past 2 years by LSTA, also Library Services and Technology Act, a federal grant administration through the State Library of Oregon. We were only eligible for 2 years. Initially, we did take advantage of an available grant, and now we are asking the council to fund the position. We have found the summer teen intern position to be very helpful during summer, which is our busiest time. In addition, this is usually the first, quote, professional, unquote, position for these teens. They learn job skills, develop positive work habits, and gain invaluable work experience. Furthermore, a positive outcome enables them to request future recommendations for other jobs, scholarships, and higher education. Another positive outcome is library exposure to new audiences. Without fail, the response of our past interns has been, quote, I had no idea the library did all this, end quote. The interns, as well as their friends and family, are now exposed to all the library has to offer. We are always trying to inform the public about the vital resources and services that the library provides for all, and this is but one more way to spread the word. Jackie has provided statistics and charts, which I have printed and can be passed around. As part of the rationale for this request. Moving on, in the library department, specific purpose grants has decreased to allow all grants to be completed and closed out before the potential retirement of Jackie Mills, our current library director. Parks, page 52. Equipment will pay for the purchase of a new zero-turn lawnmower and trailer for transportation. And then in the Oktoberfest department on page 53, salary and wages have increased as a result of using IGAs with local agencies to fill the temporary positions needed. The benefits of IGAs include reduced payroll processing time, reduced paperwork, fewer unemployment claims, and more police presence at key hours. Moving on to page 54, allocated admin payroll. Employee benefits have increased because one of the accounting clerk's position was moved from non-benefits eligible to eligible by adding 5 hours per week. And I believe I have a question about that. How many hours per week are necessary for an employee to be eligible for benefits? 30 hours per week is the minimum requirement to be eligible for medical benefits. And are the benefits essentially the same as they are for full-time employees? Part-time employees who work 30 to 39.99 hours have access to the same medical benefits, but pay 25% of the monthly premium cost. Full-time employees only pay 10% of the monthly premium cost. I hope that answered the question.
It does.
There's kind of a similar question, but it's referencing a different page. I'm gonna go ahead and read it now anyways, because it has to do with benefits. Benefits for this budget total $612. Sorry, $612,190, while last year's budget document for the website showed $501,692. That equates to a 22% increase. I see a 13 and 9 respectively percent increase for pooled insurance. What else makes up that increase? So adding benefits to positions like the one I just mentioned that were not eligible last year, such as the accounting clerk, increase it. And anytime there is a vacant position, we assume the new hire will choose the highest bracket for medical coverage, which happens to be employee plus family. For this budget cycle, there are 3 vacant positions, whereas last year there were only 2. And as most of you know, our staff list is not static. It is ever changing. When staff turnover or shift positions, so do the benefits. Some staff changes will reduce the cost and some will increase. Each year is its own unique situation. Why are some benefits for a department so much higher than a similar sized department? The employee's medical insurance requirements drive these numbers. If we had a department staffed with 8 unmarried adults with dependents, the cost would be more than a department with a similar number of unmarried adults with no dependents. An employee only premium cost per month is just under $1,000. An employee plus 1 kid is just under $1,800. An employee with more than 1 kid jumps to $2,300. An employee plus spouse is just under $2,000. Employee plus family is $22,650. So you can see how what that employee needs drives the numbers. So it doesn't matter how many employees are in an employee group, it's who they are and who is in their family. All right. I'm gonna jump back to the explanation of benefits where I left off under employee benefits on page 54. So I'm gonna move on to allocated public works expenses, page 56. Building maintenance has decreased, but planned expenditures include fencing the vacant lot on Spruce Street, purchasing a cargo container for additional storage needs, and a shelter for the new Vector truck. Attorney fees on the same page are reduced with the hope that union bargaining will be completed by the end of the current fiscal year. And then travel, training, and certification is for Alan to take a college course in pursuit of a bachelor's degree in business administration. Capital outlay on page 57. Marion County Community Prosperity Initiative is the total remaining funds left to spend on economic development. This includes funds expected in the budget year 25-26, but does not include any expenditures yet to be made in the current fiscal year 24-25 that would reduce the total. Public Works vehicles is reflecting only planned purchase this year as opposed to the full amount of funding that has been transferred for this purpose. This year, Public Works plans to purchase a new service truck, start a lease on a new street sweeper, and pay the annual lease on the Vector truck. We estimate a remaining balance of $252,000 reserved for Public Works vehicles at the end of fiscal year 2025-26. The rest of the counts, 01-14 through the end, have all been increased by 2% except for City Hall replacement.
Peter. Isn't the 252 for the vehicles, it's not actually in Public Works, right? Because it all got transferred from other. Like it lives somewhere else because it's a collective transfer, right? Do I remember that correctly from last year?
So all that 252 is not reflected in the budget because we don't plan to spend it. So I didn't put it in the budget. But it does live inside capital department. Where it's at. I had a question about the library. The library building replacement. Could you tell me more about this project? Is the library moving, being remodeled? Is it tied to City Hall replacement? There is no project in place to replace the library building. This account was created for the 24-25 budget when the city council, after the budget committee convened, requested to budget 2% of the building's value and increase it by 2% each year. This is saving money over 50 years or more to replace the building or make upgrades or repairs. As a side note, it's increasing 2% on the insured value. So as insured values increase, the percentage isn't exactly 2%. That makes sense. Because inflation inflates the building's value, so you can't just automatically add 2% from last year to this year. So I hope that makes sense.
So clarification, so this money is not being spent outgoing this year. It is kind of a reserve fund.
Yes.
Is that why we determined?
Yes, and that is something I would like to convene the budget committee, maybe later on this year, is to discuss moving these two and creating a reserve fund for future things, because the way it is now, the way Oregon budget law is, if I put money in there, I then have to build contingencies for those, which inflates my contingency requirement. And so I'd like to move those to a reserve fund, so I don't have to build contingencies on something we know we're not gonna spend money on. That makes sense. But that's a whole side conversation that doesn't need to happen here.
But you mentioned it doesn't need to happen, but basically what it is a couple of years ago, we weren't saving any money for our large assets, our buildings. And just based on what we all do, we all have other jobs, right? We just know that 2% a year is what you should be putting aside to maintain your building assets.
All right, transfers, page 58. Transfer from street public works vehicles is not, well, the street fund is not able to transfer any funds this year because the street fund is constrained by the Railroad Avenue Rehabilitation Project. So those transfers are something we choose or don't choose to do as the funds can afford it. Street fund, page 63. Street maintenance will pay for paving of the intersection of Leo and Academy Street in addition to the annual crack sealing and dust control, and you had a question?
Yeah, how about we finish your document here, we'll go back to it. And
Okay.
go from there, thank you.
Railroad Avenue reconstruction, increase to the full cost this year as the project is estimated to be completed near the end of this 2025-26 budget cycle. We are still applying for additional grants to assist with the project cost. Transfer to general fund for public works vehicles, I said C note under transfers, which we just talked about. Water fund on page 65. Utilities. Cost for electricity has increased and represents what this account is experiencing in the current fiscal year. As of end of March, we'd already spent almost $70,000. Equipment has been carried over from the current fiscal year to purchase a shoring box or alternative. This was not purchased in the current fiscal year because of the cost of repairing the motor at one of the wells. System improvements are for one-time purchases and fluctuate from year to year. Purchases are detailed in the capital improvement program on page 78 of the proposed budget document. In there, it lists exactly what it all made up. Do you guys want me to read that? Oh, no. All right. I guess I'll let you guys, if you haven't read that, I'll let you guys read that later. Humper Lane water line is a new water project pulled from the draft water master plan presented to the city council by Civil Works. Sewer fund on page 67, consultant services has been reduced to account for only the recurring annual costs of monitoring the perimeter wells around the lagoons. The current fiscal year included the cost to create and prepare the groundwater monitoring plan. System maintenance and repairs has been increased to pay for the installation of a new manhole on Academy Street in addition to the cost of unscheduled maintenance and repairs of the sewer system. System improvements are for one-time purchases, again, and fluctuate from year to year, and they are detailed again on page 78. Sewer trunk line project has been delayed until after an updated sewer master plan has been completed and to facilitate the expensive project of removing the sludge accumulated at the wastewater treatment plant, which I'm about to talk about. This is the same reason for decrease in the sewer system development on page 72. Wastewater treatment sludge removal lagoon 1. This project has been moved from the planning and saving stage to implementation. Although the project is estimated to cost more than $3 million, the project will carry over to fiscal year 26-27. The amount budgeted reflects every dollar the city had previously set aside in anticipation of the project. I had a question. The sludge removal was stated to cost about $3 million, but the budget shows 2.75 million. Why the difference? As stated on page 78 in the CIP section, this project will carry over to the next fiscal year. Any remaining costs will be budgeted in a future budget. Stormwater fund, page 69. System improvements are for one-time purchases and fluctuate from year to year, and details are on page 78. And that's the end of the explanation of changes in expenditures from prior year. I do have a couple more questions that were submitted prior to the meeting. Page 8, system development charges. I see a lot of development off of Alder Street. Does that count as SDC revenue? No. SDCs are only charged once building permits are applied for. Dirt can be moved around and infrastructure installed for future sewer and water, but until buildings are built, there's no burden on the system. So we don't charge SDCs until they come in for a building permit. Page 18. This has to do with property taxes. Will 540 and 550 South Main, formerly known as the Providence Benedictine Center, be subject to property tax? We believe the property will now be subject to property tax since the owners are no longer a nonprofit organization. The owners are working through a change of use process with the city, but we are unsure how this will affect the calculation or date upon which the property will be subject to pay the tax. And
Ask
then,
who the owners will be.
huh?
Can we ask who the owners will be?
Oh, the owners are, Oh, they have-
Sorry, I don't remember.
It's like, it's operating, we've got a business license for one company that they're operating as a landlord for the actual company. It's Silver Falls. I don't know. I mean, it's public record. I could tell you if I remember.
Okay, I guess the question would be, so whoever's moving in is not also a tax exempt organization?
Correct. They are a for-profit company.
Hey, Tara. We'll have our future conversation about reserve accounts. The sludge removal lagoon needs to become a reserve account and we need to continue to fund it moving forward.
Yep.
So that in 30 years, we have another $4.5 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We do something like that before, Ray, or not?
What's that?
Saving up money for the,
Yeah, we've been saving ever since I've been here.
It just wasn't officially a reserve account that couldn't be touching the other stuff.
Right.
We've just had it protected for the years.
So on page 33, somebody had a question about the city FTE count, which stands for full-time equivalent. No, the count is not off. Mount Angel has always chosen to budget all vacant positions that will be filled if the position was no longer held by a current employee. In the case of one employee holding 2 full-time positions, we budget both. This helps the city and budget committee understand what it would cost should personnel change, and in the event of unforeseen circumstances, the city would be prepared to fill the positions.
So we budget for 2 positions. is
Correct.
What I got out of that, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Hey, just like we have 2 officer vacancies, I've budgeted for those 2 to be filled. Yeah. Page 38, somebody had a question about the transient room tax and what does that all involve? Ordinance 760 was adopted in 2018 to introduce revenue from hotels, motels, bed and breakfast establishments, Airbnb and VRBO type temporary lodgings. The rules under ordinance 760 address who should pay the tax, how often, and what the tax is calculated on. More information can be found by reading chapter 118 of the Mount Angel Municipal Code linked to the city website.
An additional question. Fund balance, to page 38. I'm sorry for that ignorance. So the fund balance starts with $3,600,000. What does that mean to me? That means, what does that mean to me, I guess, as
On what page?
38, same page you're on.
It's the beginning fund balance of the general fund.
It's the, sorry.
It's the beginning fund balance.
So every year. It's a new dollar amount, it's like a rollover or what's?
It's a rollover from unexpended money.
Unexpended money.
Yeah.
So that years in the making, or is that left over?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay,
absolutely. Yeah, every year
So we could spend that $3,600,000
we could.
in that particular. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, in fact, a balanced budget, according to Oregon budget laws, I have to take all of our income or revenue or resources and I have to put it somewhere. I can't not put it anywhere. So that it looks like we're spending all of that somewhere, even though we technically aren't spending it.
So we start with that fund balance, we make all this revenue, I guess, that come up to $5,203,000, and then we start looking at
Where to put it,
where to put it.
yeah.
And then at the end, we'll have another balance of millions of dollars.
Okay, that's the plan. Yes,
Okay, thank you.
okay.
I wanted to have the leaving the chats up here too, and Tony did have a question from a ways back.
Is it going to reduce overall costs for the court side or the police side? I think it's a trade-off. I think it's not necessarily about cost, but convenience and modernization. Hopefully he caught that.
Yeah, I did. It just seems like a huge expenditure if it's not really gonna save us any money.
Typically, softwares and implementation is on the implementation side, cost heavy to get it, but that's just the one-time cost. There will be much smaller on annual, but to buy the printers, to pay for the licenses, that's what it will cost.
I know, I understand that, but what I'm saying is are we gonna get any kind of return on investment of that $40,000? I don't think we're gonna see it.
I would let Mark speak to that if he was here. I think he would say they will get a return on investment, it just won't be in savings, like dollar figures. Off the budget. Time efficiency.
Ian knows this. Computer printed tickets where they fill it out in their device.
They're
Have a much
terrible.
higher percentage rate
They're
of not
not.
being tossed in court.
Yeah, cause you can actually read the materials, so when they do those triplicate forms. That last one is the one that we receive at the court, you can't see it, and then it gets scanned in, and it's even worse of a document.
Right.
You can't see the material, so then the cases aren't. You can't move forward because the court's like, it's all we have to go off of.
Right.
And the handwritten ones, as someone who used to get tickets, the handwritten ones,
You prefer that?
there's
It's like this.
there's a higher likelihood that there could be a minor mistake that you could use to get your ticket tossed.
Yes. All right, I think that covers all the pre-submitted questions. Oh, no, sorry. I have one here I didn't cover. Good thing I was checking it off. Somebody asked, was the replacement of the Dodge Ram listed in the vehicle replacement schedule? No, the Dodge Ram was approved by City Council to purchase using ARPA dollars. Since the Dodge Ram was not up to standards for use in the police fleet, which I'm pretty sure the budget committee members aren't privy to, however, the council members are aware of all the drama that went on. It's not up to standards for use in police fleet, it was traded in for another pickup. The difference between the trade-in value and the new pickup was paid out of police vehicle equipment in the current budget year. The police department has only expended 61% of the approved appropriations as of the end of March 2025. In addition, most of the items that were on the Dodge Ram are being reused or refitted to the new truck. So, are there any other questions that anybody would like to cover?
I want to go back to the street fund and the Leo. So can I get the backstory on paving the intersection of Leo and Academy with this goal in mind? So there's a lot of street of Academy that's not paved. And I'm just wondering, what do we get from just paving the intersection? How is this a benefit? What do we get from it?
We have a ton of water valves. We have like a cluster of like 3 or 4, plus I think there's a manhole right there. So the benefit would be to protect those valves. We're constantly having to go in there and uncover the gravel, and it's a 3-way intersection. So I thought that'd be a good idea to preserve those valves.
So the benefit's more than just traffic, more than preventing my car from getting dusty.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna get dusty. So it's a water reason.
Correct.
It's for helping the water situation.
Correct. Yeah.
Right, thank you.
Yeah.
I just couldn't understand why we're doing that. Seems silly, but I did not know about that stuff.
I have a question.
Yes.
In the allocated public works expenses, I was just curious, the cell phones. Can you explain to me why that budget's so high? Considering it's 5 or 6 positions.
No, did you want
656.
Oh, sorry, 56.
I can just tell you that's what we get charged by T-Mobile.
Well, so we work with FirstNet, and I went to T-Mobile to save $200 a month, and that was just recently. So
And does this include getting a government rate?
I believe so, yeah. So we're saving $200 a month by going to T-Mobile.
Alan, does that include also your the dialer for the SCADA system, correct?
No, that's separate. This is
Oh,
just
okay.
How many lines does that cover?
6.
We got a question, and then on page 57, just curious about the expenses for the softball building maintenance. Do we own that building, or we do all the maintenance? What would that maintenance be on that?
I know there for a while, we had agreed that we would replace the roof, and then they ended up doing some maintenance on it to make it last longer, but eventually the roof will need to be replaced, or if it needs to be painted, or if anything rots. That's where.
So are we spending 22,000
No,
or
this is-
holding it?
This is anything in that section, I said from senior center down, that's for protecting our assets.
Okay.
That's the 2% rainy day money.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah, but if something comes up, that's where we'll pay for it out of. Yeah,
Tara,
yeah,
so obviously the parks account's a big loser, right? Rental income's all of $1,000 and we spend like 96,000 to run the parks. Where are we transferring that money in from?
it's just general fund money, property taxes,
Okay.
yeah.
And we have the ability to actually transfer more in if we wanna do more in the parks.
Somebody, I mean, yeah, we put it somewhere, right? So somebody else is gonna have to reduce their amount, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's at the end of the year, it's all, the general fund is all one big pot that has to be distributed among all these 12 departments.
I know in the past, we've been relying on like volunteer days and cleanup days and that kind of stuff. So are we adequately funded so that the parks can stay without relying on volunteers?
Yeah, I mean, even in the past, those volunteer days, I mean, we didn't bring the volunteers in to, I mean, yeah, they're a big help, but it wasn't because we couldn't do the job. They were just looking for it. So, and they all.
So to help me tie it all back together, back to that 3,600,000, a lot of that is, well, part of it is setting aside 2% for all these buildings or whatever.
Yep,
So,
at the end of the
so we
year,
don't
all that
really wanna
money,
spend, we don't really wanna spend it
right,
because it's really a reserve.
right, yeah, at the end of the year. Everything gets dumped back into the pot and we divvy it all up again.
So moving forward, just from my edification, how do I know what's being held for reserve versus what's we're actually planning to spend when I go through this budget again?
So,
Cause that might save me a lot of questions.
no, that's okay, pretty much we plan on spending everything we've done, except for what I said we're not gonna spend in the, capital improvement, those few building 2% asset protection.
So usually it's in the capital improvement section or always.
Yes, and contingency is just contingency. We hope we don't have to spend it, but it's there in case we need it. And then ending fund balance or reserve for future, excuse me, reserve for future, we don't plan on spending that. So that's at the very bottom of
Yeah, so
some of the sections. Now, we also plan big, like we have big intentions. We are driven employees who want to get a lot done. But we also have a hard time managing everything we plan to do. So sometimes our projects don't happen like we thought because something else takes our time or things just get busy and we don't get them done. So even though our system improvements say we're gonna spend 120,000, we may not get around to fencing that property, or we may not buy that Connex box or, yeah, things like that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Quick question, why would we fence that area there on Spruce Street anyway? Isn't it just kind of where we put sand and rock and gravel and it's, are we gonna put something in there if we fence it? Are we gonna store stuff there or what?
Yeah, I was hoping to put some like machinery.
Oh, I
Not the new back truck.
Okay,
Yeah, like.
okay, that makes sense then, okay.
Tara, I have a quick question.
Go ahead, Tony.
So some years, like you said, we put 2% on, say, streets or water or sewer. Can we do an alternating year where we do, say, 4% to parks, and then maybe 1% or 2% to streets or sewer, and but like one year, just kind of put some more money into the parks?
I didn't catch the first part of your question, but this budget is the committee's budget. You can decide as a committee what you want to do from year to year. So staff work to put this together based on our objectives and goals. And if you as a committee want, as a whole committee want to see something different, you guys would decide as a group what you wanted to do.
Did we understand what he was asking? Cause I didn't get part of it.
2% to fluctuate maybe year to year to different programs. is what it is.
Yeah, so instead of just putting 2% away in parks every year, maybe one fiscal year we go up to 4% and do a big project then.
Yeah, whatever project came up, we would make sure to fund it somewhere.
The 2%. As the guy who started it, let me tell you, so the 2% is every time you own a building, take 2% of the replacement value of that building. And that becomes your reserve account to make sure that you're not coming back to council to try to figure out how to fix it. And you can handle all the incidentals, all that other stuff, because when I showed up a couple of years ago, we weren't putting any money towards our buildings. And if Salt buildings needed the roof, we had to come to council and do a transfer. Basically, so the 2% isn't for fun, it's just for our, what is it, 4 assets, it's City Hall.
Ebner,
Saltville,
Ebner,
the
and
preschool,
the library.
library, and the senior center.
Yes, 5.
Speaking of the
But
senior
I mean,
center,
we also have
since
all
we're talking
the
about it,
parks.
did
I
we
mean, we
account
have-
for our new revenue stream?
No, we did not. So that would be under admin rent, so on page. And that's not a big deal, we'll just get more revenue than we thought.
Okay,
Yeah, that would be page 38. Excuse me,
I
page,
want that $2,400 for us.
excuse me, it's page 41, under rent.
It's better.
Right. That's cute.
Right,
Personally, I think the 2% is just a general idea, a general number, and to kind of like split it up between 1 and 4, but I mean, that's just more guesswork.
It's meant to be specifically for buildings, it's an industry average. New buildings take less, old buildings take more. I started at 2% because it's the industry average for anybody who manages multiple buildings.
It's a guideline.
Yeah, just an average number. And so far it's been working and helping.
right,
So on page 57, we're increasing city hall replacement by 200,000.
yes, because like I said, I didn't increase the city hall 2% because this is an active building we need to replace and we want to fund in less than 10 years, so we need to get a lot of money going.
Well, to me, it makes it look like we're making an effort to build that fund up, even though that ain't gonna pay for very much of it, but we're making a gallant effort towards city hall.
We are making a gallant effort
Yes.
towards that, because
Yes,
we're gonna have
that's what
some
I'm saying.
financing to pay off.
Yeah,
Yes,
and then maybe my hearing didn't hear this, but library building replacement,
yes, I covered that.
okay.
It's not an active project. We're just doing the 6% of the building's insured value to protect this asset that we have currently.
Should that be titled maintenance instead of replacement on that account to help clarify?
I can change the title to whatever needs to be.
So 6% raises it over 50,000,
Yes,
okay?
it's the total insured value, which I think is building and contents.
Why is it up at 6% and not
Everything's at 6% this year. I've increased it by 2 because we've been doing this for that many years now.
I mean,
Right.
total 6% by now, is that what you're
Yes.
saying?
Oh, total of 6% now. Okay.
Yes, the total.
You panicked
in
me
the
for a
fund.
second.
In these lines represents 6% last year or the year before was 2.
We're not adding 6%.
No, I couldn't afford to do that.
So I can't do the math. What is this building?
I don't have it on me.
Anybody go to math?
What was that?
60,000.
If you want, I can send that to you later.
Let's
What's the
see.
balance at?
It'd be $2.5 million.
Yeah, it'd be 15,000. 6%.
Yeah, send that one, yeah.
Oh,
Sure.
That's what I'm like.
okay, any other questions?
I have a question about the survey that was done. Are there results on that that can be viewed on what the responses said was important to them or?
Sorry, what survey?
On page 24, there's a survey mentioned. That went out to utility account holders.
Is that about the strategic plan?
I wasn't sure exactly what it was about. It just said that there were some questions
Yes.
asked from.
Yes, so it's about our strategic plan. I'm pretty sure, Colby, we could make that survey. I don't know, does, Peragio, is that property of theirs? That's what I don't know. I'd have to find out if it was.
The results would be.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I don't have the results. It's just something that we've been using to build the strategic plan. So I don't have I don't own the document itself, so I can get it though.
What were some of the questions that were on that survey?
Oh,
I might have it in my office. You guys keep talking and I'll see if I can find it.
okay. Yeah, it was sent out to, man, we sent it to the business groups. We sent it out on the utility bill. We sent it to all of our employees, to the council. Do you guys remember what the questions were? Like, what's important to you in 5 words? Like, how would you describe the city? What do you think are the city's priorities? And there were options there and you could rearrange them and.
Right, it was actually right around, it would be.
Okay, I was curious.
Because
about the results.
if somebody were to ask via public records request for any information
Yeah.
on our consulting or whatever leading up to this draft, then we would have to provide.
Yeah,
But wasn't it talked about at a council meeting or not?
Yeah.
So it should be in the minutes.
we didn't generate or create the survey.
I was just saying the feedback or whatever.
I don't know if that got put verbatim into the minutes, honestly, I would have to look at that, but it probably didn't get put verbatim in.
Right.
You know, it was summarized.
Yeah.
I think it was summarized as part of the city manager's report.
Yes, yep. But if you would like it, I could send it to you.
Thank you.
Question on 63. Sidewalk maintenance $5,000. Is that curb painting? What is that?
Sidewalk maintenance, that is just, there for like city-owned sidewalks. I mean, the ones that we maintain, residents maintain their frontage, but anything that we maintain that's there for, like if we have to pump a panel to get into, repair a water line or, it's just there just to it doesn't, it's not for street painting though.
Where do we pay for the curb painting?
Curb painting would be supplies and services, yeah.
Cause we do it ourselves, so we're just buying the paint, right?
And we are stocked at home.
Excellent. So if we wanted to begin investing in grinding the curbs before we paint them, that's where that money would come from?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my budget question for that.
You love all that flaky paint.
No comment.
Okay,
Do you have any more questions? Okay, so. Number 9, right? I will now open the public hearing to accept comments on the use of state shared revenues at 7:54 PM. Hearing none. I am now closing the, wait a minute. Public hearing at 7:54 PM. Okay, I will now entertain motions to either A, confirm meeting date for continued deliberations if necessary, to move to approve an ad valorem rate of 4.1918 per 1,000 of assessed valuation to be certified for collection to Marion County. Then we have 2 motions.
Yeah, so if we don't wanna continue, we need both B and C.
So I move to approve an ad valorem rate of 4.1918 per 1,000 of assessed valuation to be certified for collection in Marion County.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the motion. Roll call.
Member Byler,
Aye.
member Sandra,
Aye.
member Whitchurch,
Yes.
member Cross,
Aye.
member Coastal is absent, member Brackenreed is absent, member Brunner.
I,
Counselor Ott,
Aye.
Counselor Ballet,
Aye.
Counselor Eager,
Aye.
Counselor Hofer,
Aye.
Counselor Astorga,
Aye.
Counselor Donahue. Aye. Mayor Powell. Aye.
And now we need to move to approve the budget and recommend to the city council for adoption.
I would like to move to approve the budget with a modification of increasing account 1111-62420 supplies and services. From 25,000 up to $30,000 for anticipated additional work around curb painting this year.
I think we can do that without increasing it.
Okay,
Mhm.
we'll hold you to it.
Yep.
I move to approve the budget and recommend to city council for adoption.
second,
Motion moved and approved to approve the budget and recommend to the city council for adoption. Please.
Member Brunner,
Aye.
member Byler,
Aye.
member Sandra,
Aye.
member Whitchurch,
Aye.
member Cross,
Aye.
member Coastal is absent, member Brackenreed is absent. Counselor Donahue. Aye. Counselor Ott,
Aye.
Counselor Bullet,
Aye.
Counselor Eater,
Nay.
Counselor Hofer,
Aye.
Counselor Astorga,
Aye.
Mayor Powell.
Aye.
Okay, recess,
We can just adjourn the meeting.
adjourn meeting, adjourn meeting at 7:57 PM.